So I'm gonna go in a little more in depth about this industry and how drivers, I'm actually gonna paint two pictures, right? So the first picture I'm gonna paint is how drivers come in this industry and within months they're gone, defeated. The second picture I'm gonna paint is how you can pay it forward and be successful in this industry. So when people sign on to Shaw's Truckload or any other trucking company, there's a shift that takes place in about 2 to 3 months. Anybody know what that shift is? There's a shift in 2 to 3 months. Anybody? No? Okay, well the shift is the drivers are transitioning into a higher tax bracket, right? So they start making more money. So when drivers start making more money, what do? They spend more money. Drivers start spending money on frivolous things that has no sentimental value, right? And for one thing, they're lacking financial literacy. And you're not going to learn that in school. Financial literacy ain't going to teach you that. You got to get out here, fall on your head, get back up, fall on your head, get back up, fall on your head, get back up. So we had this driver, we'll call him John Doe, right? So when John Doe started, he came from a company and he was getting paid $1,200 to $1,500 a week. And he made that transition to owner-operator. He came on with us, he was making $5,000, $10,000, sometimes $13,000 a week when the freight is booming, right? And, it's funny because this thing that I'm describing, I actually gave it a name, because I talk to all of my drivers one-on-one, and I always want to know how these drivers are getting in this industry and they failing. It's like a revolving door. And drivers told me what they did to be defeated. I'm not fabricating up my story at all. So drivers, they get in this industry and they get to a certain part of, capital and they start building up. And then it starts to dissipate, start to go down because they're not doing good with the money. So this thing that I'm describing is called the battle of the personal checking account and business account, right? And I look at all these 10 fingers as some form of tangible asset, right? So we had drivers that were signed on to Shaw's Truckload. And we had drivers that they basically owned multiple houses, right? And they was renting out the houses every week. And the money that they was making from the rental property was going into their business account every week. We had some drivers that was doing Turo, renting out their cars. That money was going into the business account every week. Obviously, drivers is making money from driving trucks. That money going into the business account every week. Now, for the most part, the checking account is nearly depleted. Why? Because drivers are constantly taking out money out of the business account to satisfy the checking account. Because they create so much debt and overhead, right? So every week, that checking account. And the only thing, hold on, let me back up. The only thing that's left is the index finger. Why is the index finger the only thing that's left? Because the index finger is the one that delegates, right? The index finger is the alpha. So every week, the index finger is taking money out of the business account, right? We had a driver to say, "Hey, D. Shaw, don't book me no loads for a week. I'm going to Africa." I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's nice. How much for the trip? $10,000. More money out of the business account. We had another driver say, "D. Shaw, I just bought a house, $450,000 for the house." Taking more money out of the business account. Follow me now. That index finger is greedy, right? You want to come back. Take some more money out. What's left? The middle finger. Excuse my French though, but the middle finger looking at the index finger like, F you ain't gonna take me out. The index finger eradicates the business account. And in doing so, it eradicates itself. Why? Because everybody that have a business and have a business account, they know you have to have a certain amount of money flowing through the business account. You have to have a certain amount of money in the business account to maintain it, just like the checking account. This thing that I'm describing to you, this picture that I'm painting, is a real thing. It's called the battle between personal checking account and business account. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys up too long, but we're going to get her done. This next piece, I want to talk about something that's called pay forward. Pay forward. That's an interesting word, right? When people pray to the Creator for blessings and favors, the Creator sits back and say, I'm going to bless this guy with these blessings and favors. I'm going to bless this woman with these blessings and favors because they're always praying. And then the Creator sits back and see what you're going to do with those blessings and favors. And some people have this notion that these blessings and favors are just for us. But that's not always the case, because these blessings and favors are there for you to help out the next woman or the next man. And people have this thing where they're constantly pulling and taking from the universe. And that's not how this universe is designed. You gotta put it back. You can't consistently take from this universe. You gotta replenish. You know, one of my favorite motivational speakers once said to me, in its simplicity was yet profound. He said, whenever you make sure somebody else is okay, the Creator will always make sure you're okay. Pay it forward. You drive in the car, you see an accident on the side of the road and somebody's in distress. Help them out, pay it forward. You might get a phone call late at night and somebody, you know, they just want a little conversation, a little motivation. Because you made it, they look up to you, right? They just want to talk. Pay it forward. If you want to get to this high altitude of success and stay here, go further. Pay it forward. So my brothers and sisters, what I'm trying to tell you, if you want to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, give back, help out, and put back in the universe what you take out. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, y'all, that's it. If y'all want to